everyone, and welcome back to my channel. I'm Kim. Well, for us here in Wisconsin, we're going into the Thanksgiving time. One of the towns that are about 40 miles away from us starts celebrating Christmas a week before Thanksgiving. So there's Christmas parades. They light a Christmas tree on top of a theater called the Al Ringling Theater. It's the town where one of the circuses, I think, might have been born, and the circus stayed. And then, of course, it traveled all over the United States. And I know there's lots of controversy with that, but this town is a beautiful town, a wonderful town, one of our favorite towns in the state of Wisconsin. And we go up there 40 minutes from home and celebrate Christmas with them starting next week. So our big goal this week and going into next week is to create a Thanksgiving meal. Now, I've put up a video with me making the homemade cranberry sauce, so that's one part of it. I was going to make a pumpkin pie. I've decided to make pumpkin bars, so I will also have a video with that. Might even be included in this video with our Thanksgiving dinner. I am going to be putting up a video with preserved lemons and fermented lemons. There's two different ways to use lemons by preserving them in the refrigerator. One in a salt brine and one in sugar. So I'm going to have that in a video, and that has nothing to do with Thanksgiving, but it does help, especially the ones that are preserved in sugar can be added, the lemon juice can be added to tea, and obviously that soothes a cold, soothes your cold and soothes a sore throat. So I've got that going to be a video. We're getting back to the Thanksgiving dinner. We're going to pick up a turkey. That's $1.04 a pound. So we're having turkey, mashed potatoes, gravy, stuffing, Brussels sprouts, carrots, rolls, the pumpkin bars. I don't know if I'm forgetting something in there, but I am going to have homemade applesauce, so that's going to be put in there. And the entire cost of that meal is $16.99. Now, if you're not wanting to make homemade this or homemade that, I'm also going to have a version with store-bought rolls, store-bought stuffing, so that probably will be like a Thanksgiving dinner for $21 for two. Of course, we're going to have lots of leftovers. We're going to have turkey soup, turkey sandwiches, so we're happy with that, and we're hoping to get a 10 or 11 pound turkey. So that's what tonight's video is going to be about. So Sunday, I don't even know the date, we'll say Sunday, maybe the 16th or 17th it is, and then I'll have videos throughout the next week going up to Thanksgiving Day, and then I think pre-Thanksgiving Day I should have a video out, or maybe it'll be on Sunday after Thanksgiving. And then from that point on, I'm just going to create either holiday shopping, holiday meal, or holiday cooking type videos, as I said before, until after Christmas. So I hope you're all well. Please feel free to subscribe if these type of videos sound good to you. I appreciate the likes and I appreciate the comments. Take care, and I'll see you again. Okay, tonight's video is a budget-friendly Thanksgiving meal for two. So 2 adults, an adult and a teen, adult and a couple of kids, however you want to, whoever you want to fix it for. But I'm fixing this meal for my husband and I for Thanksgiving. So first off, we have a turkey. We have a 10-pound turkey that was $1.04 a pound. I have it in the freezer. I'm just doing this at the last minute, and that I will have a picture of me cooking the turkey and what the turkey looks like when it's done, and then plating up. So we've got turkey and then homemade stuffing that's going to be made by using this Italian bread, and then I've got some dried sage, salt and pepper, butter, celery, onion. I have my herbs over here that I freeze. I freeze thyme and rosemary, so I'm going to use that with the turkey. Also can use that with the bread. So homemade stuffing, I'll have the recipe in the show notes. I also put ground thyme and marjoram in it. I'm making a homemade pumpkin pie, so I already have the pumpkin on hand. I have the egg on hand. I have the condensed milk on hand, or the evaporated milk on hand, and the pumpkin spice and another cinnamon. So I've got all those things on hand. I did not have to buy those at the grocery store. I bought a bag of Brussels sprouts for $1.39 from Aldi. 3 baker's potatoes at 61 cents a pound. Came out to be, I believe it'll be in the show notes, $1.80 Like I said, this bread I've had here now for 3 weeks. It was featured in one of my last grocery hauls. A pound of carrots for $1.08 from Walmart, and I'm going to make homemade cranberry sauce, and these were 99 cents at Aldi. So our meal is going to be turkey, homemade stuffing, mashed potatoes, gravy, carrots, Brussels sprouts, cranberry sauce. I'm making homemade sourdough biscuits, homemade pumpkin pie. I think that's it. That is our meal, and it's costed out at $16.95 for two. Seeing as it's a 10-pound turkey, we'll have that Thanksgiving dinner. We'll have sandwiches the following day, and probably some leftover mashed potatoes the following day on the homemade sourdough rolls. And then I will probably put a fairly large portion of the turkey, both dark and white meat, away in the freezer for either one or two other meals. And then I will take the carcass and I will cook that for most of the next day, if not 10-12 hours, and I will make turkey bone broth. And so, yes, for $16.95, we should get at least 4, possibly 5 meals from that. And of course, the pumpkin pie, we'll each have a slice of the pie, and we'll be able to eat that for 2 or 3 days later. Stuffing, it just all depends. I don't eat stuffing. We won't eat all the cranberry sauce. My husband likes to have turkey paninis, so we'll probably use some of that bread, probably 4 slices to make him some paninis. We use sliced turkey, and then the cranberry, and then usually a sharp cheese. And we have a panini press, and we make him some of those types of sandwiches. With some of the broth, I'll eventually make soup, so that's probably a 5th or 6th meal out of that 10-pound turkey. So we won't eat all the Brussels sprouts. That's at least 2 meals there. So yeah, $16.95 will make us a Thanksgiving dinner, and we'll get a beautiful meal, some beautiful leftovers. We'll have stuff put away in the freezer for turkey bone broth, for turkey vegetable soup, and also a couple of turkey meals or sandwiches at a later date. Also have carrots left over, cranberry sauce left over, stuffing left over, Brussels sprouts left over, and pumpkin pie left over for at least a couple of days after our meal for Thanksgiving. So I'll give you clips of when the turkey is done, and as we plate it up, I hope you're all well, and I'll see you in the next video. Okay, I've decided to do pumpkin bars instead of a pumpkin pie because I don't feel like making a pie crust. You can do the same if you don't feel like making homemade rolls or anything like that. You can go buy I'll show you what, we're actually having these tonight for supper, but these are $1.88, something like that. Either less than $1 or just $1 at Walmart. But we're having these tonight with some leftover ham, and I will be still doing the rolls for our Thanksgiving meal. But here's the pumpkin bars. I'll have the recipe in the show notes. This is 1 can of pumpkin. I use Libby's, 3 eggs, 3 large eggs. I don't always follow that large egg thing, but I guess it's important. I've used this recipe before, and it always turns out. I buy large eggs. I even buy extra large. They always look medium to me. Having grown up in a farm, they just do. But nevertheless, 3 large eggs, 1 can of pumpkin, I use Libby's, and unfortunately 1 cup of vegetable oil. I know there's a big controversy with seed oils, and this is a wonderful recipe by a wonderful cook, but at the end of the day, if you're making pumpkin pie or pumpkin bars, you can't really put in olive oil, and you shouldn't or wouldn't probably put in coconut oil or beef tallow or bacon drippings, because all of that will steal the taste away from the pumpkin. So yeah, when you're making cakes and stuff, you can put applesauce, but you just can't take and put any type of substitute oil in here that I'm aware of. Please let me know if you're aware of something you could take that wouldn't compete with the pumpkin. So 1 cup of vegetable oil, 3 large eggs, 1 can of pumpkin.
Okay, and the next three ingredients are 1 cup of granulated sugar, half a cup of brown sugar, and 1 teaspoon of vanilla. Okay, and then the dry ingredients are 2 cups of flour, 1 teaspoon of baking soda, 1 teaspoon of baking powder, and a half a teaspoon of kosher salt. Okay, and then you mix. And in the instructions it says don't overmix the batter. So I mixed the batter till all the ingredients were combined, and then I stopped. You need a 10 by 14 jelly pan. I don't really know what the size of this one is. This is what I use though, and it makes a very nice size bar. So it calls for a 10 by 14 jelly pan or jelly roll pan. You preheat the oven at 350 degrees and you bake for 30 minutes. I always do the toothpick test. If you insert the toothpick around, give or take 5 to 8 minutes, depending on ovens, before you think it's done, insert the toothpick. If it comes out clean, and that's generally towards the middle, if it comes out clean, it's done. If it comes out with a wet batter or a very wet, soggy crumb on it, cook it to its completion of 30 minutes. And if you did that at 30 minutes, cook it for about 2 or 3 minutes more and do the toothpick test again. So I'm going to pour the batter in the jelly roll pan and put it in my preheated 350 degree oven. All total, it says in the notes that from start to finish, this is a 50-minute activity. Okay, it's in the jelly roll pan. One last trick to do, and do it gently, is to lift the jelly pan on both sides and just kind of thump it on the countertop. And I mean gentle because you don't want it flying all over the place, but you want to do that to let the air. You might see some what looks like lumps and stuff like that. The cook that shared the recipe said that's perfectly fine. I've tried to smash them down as well as I can, but often with pumpkin and then the flour in that, without over mixing, you're going to have a few lumps and everything's going to be fine. Okay, the turkey, homemade turkey gravy is cooking. We've got the potatoes almost done, and then the carrots, and I'll show you the Brussels sprouts. And here are the Brussels sprouts. I don't eat them, so my husband usually eats about 7 or 8. These ones that are in the bag that I bought, I can't remember how much they were. Bought them at Aldi, I believe. They like $1.30 or $1.38. Pretty small. They're in the little steamable bags. But so now he's getting a little bit more than 7 or 8 of them. Okay, we're winding down with the cooking. I don't know that I'm going to have time to frost the pumpkin bars before I show a picture of the plate with all the goodies on it, but there are the pumpkin bars that I made. I covered it with foil overnight so nothing got on them as they sat in the countertop. There's popcorn ceilings, you just never know. And then we have our plates, and pretty soon they will have our little Thanksgiving meal for $16.98 on them. And this is the first plate prepared, of course my husband's. So if you are following that cranberry recipe, plenty thick. So we take a nice spoonful out right next to the buns. Plenty thick. You can even put it on bread and that if you're going to make, like we'll be making turkey panini. So we got plenty of leftovers. I think the turkey was, 10 pounds. I'll insert a clip. We've got stuffing that was made from leftover Italian loaf, mashed potatoes, homemade gravy, carrots from Walmart, I believe, for $1.08. Then the Brussels sprouts, and then the rolls, homemade cranberry sauce. And then if I get around to frosting these, those will be shown as well in a clip. So thanks for joining me here. This is our Thanksgiving dinner for $16.98 with leftovers.